Going into the 2023 NBA Draft, Cam Whitmore was projected to be a top 10 pick. In fact, I believed he was the 5th best prospect in that class behind Victor, Scoot, Miller, and Amen, and thought he would be a great pick at 5th overall for the Detroit Pistons. However, for one reason or another, he fell all the way to pick 20, being drafted by the Houston Rockets, which was a pick I praised at the time because I think they probably heavily considered taking him at pick 4. So getting him at pick 20 felt like a potential steal. Whitmore barely played a decent amount at the start of his rookie season, spending a lot of time in the G League where he was incredible. However, recently he's gotten more opportunity at the NBA level and he's looked really good, showing us why he very likely should have never fallen as far as he did in the draft. But quickly before we go any further, if you're new and like basketball, I'd really appreciate it if you would like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. I'm notified whenever I release a video. I'm making videos about basketball all the time, and liking and subscribing are the two best ways can help me out in the YouTube algorithm, help support the channel, and help me reach my goal of 10,000 subscribers by the end of the season. Let's try and get 100 likes on this video so YouTube will recommend it to others. Anyways, let's talk about Cam Whitmore. Over his last 10 games, Cam Whitmore is averaging 12.1 points per game, 3.5 rebounds per game, and 1.1 steals per game on 51.7, 40, 78.9 splits, and a 64.6 true shooting percentage in 17.7 minutes per game. While I don't know if he can maintain this efficiency, this is absurd efficiency for a rookie, and he's also really young. This is a sign of a player capitalizing on the opportunities he gets and also showcasing the tools necessary to be a good NBA player for a long time. Also, the efficiency is encouraging for a super young score-first player. Cam Whitmore is a physical monster, staying at 6'7", weighing 232 pounds with a 6'9" wingspan. Over his last 10 games, he's shooting 71.4% at the rim on 3.5 attempts per game, which considering he's playing less than 20 minutes per game, that volume is actually pretty good. He's from the Jalen Brown Anthony Edwards School of Athleticism, combining an unreal frame, strength, and physicality with speed, burst, quickness, and explosiveness at such a young age. This gives Whitmore immediate value as a cutter and transition threat as a play finisher. On top of that, he has one of the best second jumps I've ever seen. His ability to get to the ground and then jump back in the air is matched only by a handful of NBA players. For a decent amount of players, it takes years to get to where Cam Whitmore is physically and athletically. And mind you, he's only 19 years old and one of the youngest players in the NBA. He's too strong for quick players, he's too quick for strong players, and when you combine that with his skill as a scorer, you get someone that has potential to be very hard to contain 1v1. Another area I've been impressed with Whitmore has been his 3-point shooting. Over his last 10 games, he's shooting 40% on 4 attempts per game from beyond the arc. But the area I've been most encouraged by is his catch and shoot ability, as over that stretch, he's shooting 47.8% on 2.3 catch and shoot 3-point attempts. This is important because Cam Whitmore isn't a primary scoring option, and for him to get more minutes consistently in the rotation, he's going to have to play off the ball. Being a catch and shoot player is a good start. I feel like Whitmore was underrated as a shooting prospect entering the NBA, given the fact he was an athletic wing prospect that shot below 35% from 3. But you have to remember he dealt with injuries and had a slow start to the season. He shot 37.3% on 4.2 attempts per game in 20 games he started at Villanova and showed real ability in catch and shoot situations. I think given his cutting and transition ability on top of a promising catch and shoot ability that has a prior tape to the NBA to back that up as a real thing, there's a path for Whitmore not only to be a rotation piece for the rest of the season, but also maybe even take a starting spot long term. Whitmore also has creation upside. He showed it a lot more in the G League, and he hasn't showed it as much in the NBA, mainly because in the G League he's just asked to be an on-ball creator more than he is at the NBA level, but I see the flashes at the NBA level as well. A functional handle combined with unguardable physical and athletic tools can do wonders. Now, I do notice some shot selection problems, but he's one of the youngest players in the NBA. That's going to be common, especially given his archetype. I see the path for Whitmer to grow into a very capable self-creator at the NBA level, to the point where as a scorer, he's lineup flexible and versatile, which is something both in the short and long term that will be beneficial for his development. Now, the defense is interesting. I think he has a ton of upside on that end of the floor, but he has his ups and downs, just like he did in college. He's a rookie, so that's to be expected, and he hasn't played enough to get a real feel either, but he does have all the tools to be really good on that end of the floor, and I'm going to let time tell over the next 1 to 2 years to see how he ends up on defense. I have one major concern with Cam Whitmore, however, and that's his playmaking. He really isn't good as a playmaker. His feel isn't great. He has tunnel vision. He's a scorer at heart. He averaged less than 1 assist per game in college, and I know assists per game don't always tell the full story, especially in college, where a lot of your numbers in terms of assists per game are based off of the system you play in and the role you're asked to play. Just ask any player at Kentucky. But considering he had a usage rate slightly above 25%, it was a bit telling, and when you watch the tape, there really wasn't much to suggest any sort of playmaking ability. I don't know if Whitmer will ever be an impact playmaker at a high level. I've seen some flashes in the G League that are encouraging, but nothing that suggests super high-end outcomes, to say the least. I'll tell you right now, if he was a high-impact playmaker entering the NBA, he would have gone second overall. That's how good the rest of his game is, in my opinion. It's not a major concern in the sense of him and his upside to be a good NBA player for a long time, but I do think it puts a cap on what his ceiling might be as a player. Cam Whitmore is someone that has all the tools to be an impactful NBA player, and his skill set can contribute to a competitive basketball team in a real way right now, in my opinion. He has upside as an on-ball scorer that can expand his game over time, and somebody that is effective as a cutter and transition threat, as well as catch-and-shoot player right now, combined with elite athleticism. When you get a player that you can really see as a spark plug, 15-minute per game guy right now as a 19-year-old rookie that again is one of the youngest players in the NBA, there is upside to be more than that, just based off how rare of an athlete he is. He needs to improve his defensive technique, but he's young and has time to figure that out. I do see a bit of Jaylen Brown in his game. They have similar athletic profiles, although Whitmer is even bigger than Jaylen was at the same age, and Whitmer was a year younger than Jaylen was when he entered the NBA. I see a world where Whitmer is an effective off-ball scorer that can create on the ball in a real way, although you don't want him being the focal point of your offense, but they fit well next to a big-time creator because they can play on and off the ball as a scorer. That's what makes Jaylen a valuable player on the best team in the NBA right now, and I think that's the path for Whitmer to be a high-end NBA player for a long time. I think the absolute best case outcome for Cam Whitmore is an all-star wing as a second or third option. And if he shows any real improvement as a playmaker, he could maybe even reach all-NBA heights. But that's a big ask for anyone. Playmaking is not something that you magically just get better at. Only time will tell when it comes to how good Cam Whitmore can be, but he has all the tools to be an effective NBA player for a long time due to his off-ball scoring and on-ball upside combined with rare athleticism. I think his defense and playmaking will determine just how high the heights he reaches are, but regardless, I do think he's going to massively outperform his 20th overall draft slot and have a lot of teams in that late lottery to mid-first round kicking themselves for passing on him. But that's the end of this video. If you made it to this point, thank you so much. Again, haven't already, like, subscribe, hit notification bell, I'm notified whenever I release a video. I make videos about basketball all the time, and liking and subscribing are the two best ways can help me out the YouTube algorithm, help support the channel, and help me reach my goal of 10,000 subscribers by the end of the season. Let's try and get 100 likes on this video so YouTube will recommend it to others. Let me know what you think about Cam Whitmore. Do you think he was a steal at 20? Where do you think he should have gone in the draft? How good do you think he can be? How good do you think this Rockets team can be? I'll do all that down below. But with that being said, have a nice day, and I'll see you guys in the next one.